Winner fam, what's good? We're back. It was match day, FA Community Shield match day, and we're the winners. I have Raoul, our Durban resident Gune here. Raoul, one final score, and we won on penalties. Quite a, I would say, exciting final, kind of. But how did you feel, man, about the results and everything beating Liverpool?
What's up, family? First things first, it's so good to have a back-to-back win against Liverpool. If it was boxing, we would be the champions now because we beat the champions. And let's be honest, guys, that was actually a great performance. And I wouldn't say a second-string side, because when you look at the whole Liverpool and Arsenal, we both had probably 60-70% first-team players. But it was a good performance. You see, the nice thing I feel that Arteta has brought into the club is confidence, and it's starting to show now. I mean, I would have actually personally, if I had to say, if we had to play this Liverpool team in today, I would have been a bit wary. But the way we played, definitely there was confidence on the ball. At one stage, I think it was like 50-60 minutes, and they didn't really have a shot on goal.
So let's break down the game a bit here, since we have a bit of time. So from the starting lineup, man, the guys, there was some surprises. I feel maybe in Ketia, Niles playing on the left, also Bellerin. So yeah, how did you feel about the starting lineup? Like we break down the game a bit, starting lineup. Were you surprised with the few players that he played?
Yes, I mean, probably every Arsenal supporter, when they saw Lacazette was actually out of the lineup, the first things first, is he leaving us? I was worried about Eddie actually starting in the beginning. But you know what? If there's one thing that and has shown so far with the gaffer, that we should just trust him. He knows, he has always played his best team forward first. He has always played to win. It has never been a question of he's playing for the draw. I do believe he knows what the club stands for. But just looking at the lineup, it was nice to see the back line was a bit refreshing, because we had Luiz and Holding. And it was, to a certain extent, if you're looking at the newspapers and talking about, Ainsley was actually supposed to, he's linked with Wolves, Holding's linked with Leeds. And it's nice to actually see them starting, because you know what, they're still quality players at the end of the day. It's nice that Arteta actually used them, because you know what, if they are actually in some kind of deal going forward towards a deal with other clubs, you find out normally a club will actually either put them on the bench or just not sure, put them up to play for a game like this, regardless if it's going to be a win or not. So we did play a very strong positive lineup. I'm glad to actually see that Martinez started again. It does raise a couple of questions, because I do not understand. Maybe as Leno's a little bit injured, but to my knowledge, I thought Leno would have been back.
Yeah, even me, I also thought that. But he actually saved us a few times, Martinez. There were a few one-on-ones there that he did really well. But I think we can break down a little bit of the game here. But it felt like we had control of the game for 60 minutes. That goal was just like the play out the back. I'm not sure how are you feeling about it? I was actually shocked that we scored then, but so early into the half, the kind of play. But it felt like we controlled a bit of play, in the first half leading into the second half. And we lost it a little bit, and that's when Liverpool capitalized. Maybe talk us through about a bit of the goals and full time.
So first things first, Kish. So we're talking about the back play. Before I even go into that, I must say one of the players that actually stood out, and he actually contributed quite a bit going into like the first 60 minutes, was Elneny. Let's be honest, we did write off Elneny last season. To be honest, when he came back, we knew that this is a player that we want to sell, because if not, we always believe he's below par when it comes to his quality. I think he had a brilliant game. I think he played very well playing in the center, and technically he played the role of the Lucas Torreira role. Lucas Torreira, because must remember, he was actually just there trying to get the ball, press in the center, collect the ball, distribute it to either Granit, or just playing safe in front of the defenders, that pivotal role and so on. He actually had a brilliant game. I think there's very few mistakes he had in the game. Even his distribution was a lot better. He did take a few passes back, but you know what? One thing about Arteta, and you did highlight it, is that we play very well from the back now. So, and that's the nice thing, because you know what? Playing, if you have a confident defense, a defense where they're very comfortable with the ball, it opens up players like Anani, who's not really the most skillful, especially with his first touch, to actually pass the ball back and doesn't put any pressure on the game. So that is something you find that Arteta did actually instill in the team, and more importantly, I feel just the qualities Lewis gives us with that passing, the way he passes the ball actually opens up for that direct route one football, which I think Uber actually plays well because it's over the head of the defense. Uber got pace, and you know what? It's very hard for me to actually tell you now that Uber should be a center striker. The way he's been playing on the left wing, it's very hard for him to come back in the center.
How was that goal, man? That goal was class by him.
Quality. And you know, it's crazy. That shows the confidence and the level their players' skill is. That like he knew exactly before he even touched the ball where he's going to place that ball. And you know what? Alisson had no chance of getting that ball. If you looked at it, Alisson actually had good positioning, but just the way, the quality of that strike, no ways. The keeper was always going to be beaten 9 out of 10 times.
And then Liverpool came back, bit of a sloppy goal, but they'll take it. It was a bit of a weird one. I don't think we really lapsed in defense itself. They did look like they were coming into more of the game, towards like the 60th, 70th minute after they scored. But then it felt like Arsenal towards the end of the game, like the last 10, once we conceded, we played a lot better, man. Like we stepped up. There were a lot more chances. So going towards the end, we'll talk about obviously it went to penalties being a draw at the end of the game. But who do you think should have won if there had to be a winner straight at full time? Do you think we were the more deserving team, or who do you think in terms of?
Definitely, because even if you look at the substitutes we brought in Nielsen, they brought in Brewster. I mean, the nice thing that during the game, and I was looking at it, our youngsters that we actually bring in are actually a lot more experienced in comparison to the Liverpool players. You look at it, so I think definitely it would have actually favored us if we had to just go into extra time. Another thing we need to also look at, Kishan, is that Arsenal have actually played only one game coming back from the vacation and so on. We only played against MK Dons. And technically it was more or less almost a similar team that we played against MK Dons that we played with Liverpool. So the most interesting thing is I think Liverpool has played 2 or 3 games already in the preseason. So, I mean, if you look at it, that's quite exceptional in the sense that the guys are still trying to keep going to match fitness. And definitely, but remember at one stage we didn't have a Ceballos, so we had to cater for Nene. And let's be honest, when last Nene actually played in the team apart from their preseason one game. Yeah, so this shows like. Pardon, Kishan?
I'm saying you never ever said like maybe as an Arsenal fan that you ever wanted Elneny in the team. You know what I mean? Like, and now you're surprised at his performance today. It was actually a well-drilled performance. Nothing spectacular. He did his job, and then he did it well, I felt.
Yeah, and that all goes towards the coach in the sense that there was an interview, and he said, you know what, we can play a beautiful football. We can play the best tic-tac football that you want, but sometimes it's not about that kind of football. It's about winning the games. And he has always put the right players to try and win the games. I mean, even Ainsley, look at Ainsley playing in the current position he is. I mean, his athletic ability, he has definitely been actually more of, I think he just fits a lot more better in the current team than what he played under Emery. Definitely, even though there was some kind of communication difference between the player and the manager, I think Ainsley actually fell out of favored during Emery's stint as manager. But you can see he's bringing into the team. And you know the thing is, like I say, if a player was actually questioned to go in to another club, the player wouldn't give that full commitment because he still needs to pass their medical, etc. But you know what? It's a mindset that Arteta is actually putting into these players, but also getting top-end players that have won a lot of things. I like the fact that he has brought in William. I like the fact he still has Luis. So definitely going forward, it's going to be, if anything to go by, it's going to be a good season.
Yeah, it looks like it. You know, these guys had a well-drilled performance. I think a lot of positives coming up. It still feels good. Sorry, to beat the champions. You know, twice. I don't know if they have excuses this time, but it was a performance. But let's go into. We actually didn't win it at full time, but we won it at the penalties, which was weird one, but nerve-wracking. But everyone took it quite well. You know, what did you make of it? I don't know. It was nice for the game to go to penalties, I suppose. Makes it a final. But what is your feeling on the penalty? Were you a bit nervous? How did it go down?
Well, personal opinion, I felt the way our team played under pressure. When you look at penalties is all about the pressure. There's a lot of luck in penalties as well. But if you look how our players finish the penalties, I mean, Nielsen, that was a very clean finish. I mean, Uber played the first spot because he knew most likely would go right to the end. And if there's if we had to ask yourself who's the most confident player in our team, and I can tell you now, it's our captain, because our captain leads by example. And then again,
Ainsley's penalty was also so cool, man. The way he took it.
I'm telling you, and it just shows getting some kind of silverware. And you must remember, this team technically, even though like the Ainsleys, the Nielsens, they have played to a certain extent under even the Wenger area. They're starting to come they're starting to come alive under Arteta, which is interesting and which is good to see, because you know what? I feel personally they talk about this balance of having a good young and good old mix of players in the club. And one side, and I think under the Wenger and to a certain extent with Emery, we are playing a lot more of the youngsters. You know, we started bringing in a lot more youngsters and there was a lot more imbalance. Now the team, I feel that when it comes to maturity levels, definitely there is a balance in our team. And you can start seeing it in the winning mentality. Like you mentioned, in the last 10 minutes, we found that extra win in our game. We found the extra spring in our foot. Because you know what? They know what it means. More importantly, they want to win. And I mean, it's daunting to play against a Liverpool team, especially a Liverpool team that finished 99 points, a Liverpool team that just merely lost to City the previous season and still won the Champions League. That's a formidable team we played against.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and we played with heart and fight, and I think it was a good man. It's like it's always nice, you know, to beat those dudes, get crowned champions. Well, not champions, just get crowned the winners of the FA Cup Community Shield.
Yes.
At least Aubameyang didn't drop it this time. Everyone was like saying that. I don't think he did it on purpose. But yeah, like before we wrap up, man, we all are happy, and you know, I think these kind of performances are needed to just keep the objective alive. You know what I mean? To just show that we're in the process of rebuilding, and we're showing the Aubameyang goal, the way we defended, even coming back after going down to Liverpool. So many positives. But for you, what are you excited to see going into the next season? You know, which starts in about 2 weeks' time.
Well, there's 3 or 4 things I would like to. I'm excited to know because they're good problems. I would like to see who Arteta is really going to base his number 1 performance, because you know what, we can't be faulting Martinez. Martinez has been standout again. He had 2 or 3 1-on-1s. The one against Mane. I mean, he has actually had some good goal saving. He put in some good goal saving attempts, and it'll be very wrong for us to put him back to second when we start the season again. So that's one interesting one. I must say, when it comes to a left back, Tierney has definitely cemented that spot. The way he plays, the way he actually makes his runs, and more importantly, he's actually a very, very physical player. And you can see his game's actually meant for the Premier League, the way he plays. And the last one is probably just looking into our midfield, because if something, if we're going into the season and there's where we need to put investment, it has to just be our midfield. And it's a question of two types of midfield players. Are we going to have a midfield player like a Party that we heavily linked up with a raw CDM, or are we going to look into a flair kind of midfielder, because we still lack that ability of a good central attacking midfielder, which is still box to box. What will be interesting, maybe I feel that going forward, maybe the William might actually take the role behind the striker, because the truth is he has that kind of flair and probably will have that free role. But it'll be very interesting because we're in such a good spot that in former William used to occupy the right wing for Chelsea. Let's be honest, our right wing at the moment is Pepe, but you saw this performance Saka has also made. Saka is very versatile, so it's interesting. We got 3 players that can play on the wide. We got 2 players playing. We can play on the left, including Saka. I mean, Tierney can actually. I've seen how Arteta has used Sead in right at the end of the game to put him more on the wing back, but more of a left wing player, just to put more to close down the channels of the ball, and more importantly to try and overlap, which is interesting because you know what? If you're looking at the variations of play, I feel there's a lot more that we have now when it comes to our style of play, etc. If you look, bring in this new defender, Gabriel, you might even change the way Arteta's playing. Instead of going with I think Arteta is always wanting to play a 3 in the back. I feel, and maybe if this Gabriel will actually bring it, but look, we got Saliba. I mean, we got options now. And it's nice going into the season because you know what? Options give you some kind of hope because you know what? It's not the same Arsenal team. Definitely. I mean, fair enough, previous season we didn't have the best finish. But if it's go by anything, I mean, we won our FA Cup. We have won the Community Shield. We are going full confident. We're going to see Liverpool in the next 3 weeks. And you know the nice thing is, players can really say, listen, we have beaten them once, a month ago. You know what I mean? Sorry, once a month ago already. It's like, it's still fresh in our minds. We can take them on again. And you know what? Once we just go over that mindset of they are a strong opponent, we are inferior to them. I can tell you now, this Arsenal probably will be a top 4, definitely. Yeah. I saw the betting odds for the 66-1. I think 66-1 is still actually a very good chance. If you're a betting person, I'll put money on Arsenal, definitely. Because I do expect some upsets, definitely. If we're taking top 6, if we're going to play the top 6, and there's no other club that actually has taken more points out of the top 6 than the Arsenal club.
Yeah, we're doing some damage, and I think it's about time we're getting the recognition. It's been a while, man, since we can say that. But last question before we go, I forgot to ask you earlier, but who do you feel was your man of the match for today's game? Who do you think put in a really good performance?
Well, when it came to the crucial performance where the person needed to clutch up his game, definitely had to be Aubameyang. But I personally feel it's Uber, but you know what? Martinez, they keep us in that game. We could have lost it right at the end. So yeah, definitely a good number 1 will go to Aubameyang. I liked his celebration. Did you see that, Keisha? The celebration was for Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
You know, so but it's nice because it just shows the human factor that our players have as well, especially Uber. I've noticed, I do follow him through social media, and he is the type of person that wants to feel the club. And if there's anything, I'm confident that he will actually sign his extension on his contract, because definitely you can see Arsenal as his own.
You know, I think he's happy. The man's lifting trophies now. Hopefully he's happy. Sign it. Please sign it. We're tired of waiting. Let us go into the season with some happiness. But yeah,
100%.
Yeah, sorry. Before I interrupted you there, you were saying.
Yeah, but Kishan, before we leave, I have to say, it's very weird this transfer season because you know what? I feel Arsenal are still keeping their ideas close to their chest. A lot of this, there's a lot of speculation because you know what? It's first of all, it's we are proactive in our players that we want because definitely they have certain profiles that they know will sit and suit the club. They're not just going after people that they will get good bargains with, or they got a set idea, and it's quite nice to see. I didn't like previously. I didn't expect us to be linked to Gabriel, um, which was a big surprise. Definitely, but before I go, I just would like to see. I just hope that we sort out a midfield.
Yeah, we need a bit more quality in that aspect. Today we grinded it out, but I think the creative edge was lacking, But Saka's movement is he's moving quite well. Today was he really had a good performance today. And I think quite a few guys, even Maitland-Niles, Cedric, or not really
100%.
Cedric, he wasn't too bad. Bellerin as well. They put in a good shift. I feel
Yeah,
Alneni to
but
me shocked me the most at how well he played. He wasn't brilliant. He just did a good job, man. Like, and I'm really happy that I was surprised that he started him. I was shocked, but hey, he saw what he needed to, and I think we just have to just trust in this dude, man. Like it's like don't even
100%. You
start
know
like
what?
questioning his
I
decision.
agree.
Just be like, you know what, I trust you.
100%. I mean, I think even Jurgen Klopp himself was shocked when he saw Arena was starting in the first team.
He's like, I got this game.
Definitely.
I held them
But
here. This is here. We're gonna break these dudes down. And you
but
look at us.
Kishan, you brought something up that actually it's something that I failed to mention. You know what? We talk about the youngsters and we talk about the suckers, the Bellerins, and so on. Take note of how the players are more proactive in doing the one-on-ones. Did you see Bellerin? Normally, Bellerin will always look for the pass, but there's 2 or 3 runs where he actually he took his player one-on-one. It just shows confidence in the team. And that's a good measurement to say that definitely the team, when it comes to mindset, they're in a very good mindset.
And you know what? It adds because you get into such good spaces and you can create such good opportunities. Because Bellerin became a really good feed out of the back line. Once
Yeah,
you were passing around in the back, he was the guy that could just feed just to take it out there with a bit of pace, and he was doing it quite well. And and
mm,
when look a year ago, would we have said we were playing well out the back? You know what I mean? Now today we're like that's our strongest like suit. So we are growing.
100%.
And it's really exciting to see what's going to come next season. I think, as you were mentioning a bit of this fixtures that we're having, I think our October month will be quite difficult. But if we get through that period, I think we'll have a really good November and December. And then, yeah, hopefully being in contention, hopefully. But I see positives. I like what Arteta does. He just takes it every game at a time. But yeah, man, thanks so much. It was a great win. I think we did you expect it? That was one last question. Sorry, did you expect us to beat them? Were you going in like we're gonna win this match?
Well, the hope was there, Kishan. I mean,
Always.
I think the hope came from the FA Cup. I mean, as a fan, after the FA Cup win, you're in a good. I can't. You can't tell me there's no Arsenal fan that's not in a good space at the moment.
And what I liked is that
So
we
I mean, the fans are in a good space. The players are in a good space, and definitely, I feel that I did feel we had a good chance. I knew it might be very close. That only a goal was separated or might go to penalties, and penalties is all about the luck. But having Martinez in between the sticks, I felt that we still had a very good chance. I was very unfortunate he didn't actually get a save. But if you look at those 5 penalties, he had two. There was 2 dives that were more or less where you could have read the ball and almost got to it. Um, but then again, it was always ours to lose. That's how I felt. We always had the upper foot.
yeah, we did play well. We played really well. I'm surprised we can talk about this like we just played Liverpool. Most games like about 6 games ago we wouldn't be talking about it. We'd be like, shit, we have Liverpool next. You know, let's hope they beat us like 2-1 at least. You know, because
Yeah.
but now we're changing our tone, and that all comes down to Arteta, man. I think maybe if we had to give a man of the match award from Gunakas, he'd get it definitely because his tactics really worked today. I think everything played the way he wanted to. We conceded, which was unlucky. But you know what I like about the goal that we conceded just before we wrapped? It wasn't like we were bad. It was just like
Yeah.
it was just like they were fortunate. You know, it just it was,
100%.
you know. So I
The
like
way the ball landed.
yeah, exactly. So you can't like be like, no, Louis should have been placed better or Tierney should have done better
100%.
here. You know, it wasn't like before where three people are running after one person, leaving the guy. You know, so and we came back well. So that's always a plus. But yeah, Raoul, it's always a pleasure, you know, having you on. And thanks so much. After this I think it's 2-1 because I predicted it. After this win in the FA Community Shield by penalties, it's Raoul, it's Kish. We out. It's Gunakas SA.
Ciao, my brother.
No way.